Active theater that can seat about 800 people. Look to my right behind the stage, you see 5 bells here. And those 5 bells, those represent the 5 missions of San Antonio. Anybody see the movie Miss Congeniality? This is the stage where they filmed Sandra Bullock for that particular movie. Now the River Theater right here was completed in 1940, and in 1970 they dedicated it to Robert Hutman. Now he's the father of the Riverwalk. He's the conceptual architect for everything you see throughout here. He was born and raised in San Antonio, went off to the University of Texas in Austin, where he earned a degree in architecture. In 1929, at the age of 27, he returned to San Antonio, where he teamed up with the Conservation Society group, and together they convinced the City Council to approve his plan. Now the Riverwalk itself is about 2.5 miles around, and though the plan was approved in 1929, the actual work wasn't finished until 1941, and when they completed it, they did it for a cost of only $430,000. Which turned out to be a pretty good investment. And the bridge that we're coming underneath right now is called the Precious Tree Bridge. Now, presa in Spanish means blockade or dam, and in the 1700s, we had a dam right along here that diverted the waters from the San Antonio River to the 5 missions. Now, coming along here to my right-hand side, you see the Zion sculpture, which is called Father Manzanera's Table. Now, this was placed here in 1991 on the 300th anniversary of the first Catholic Mass that was conducted on the San Antonio River on June 13th of 1691. When we came out of the River Theater, did you notice all these large trees along here? Especially they look like they're kind of dying. But these trees here, they are called bald cypress trees. They range anywhere from 100 to 300 years old here. Now the one here to my right-hand side is a little over 200 years old, and what this tree did was it created something very unique, because through its root system it created this island here to my right-hand side. Now not only did it create it, but it created it in the shape of a heart. This island goes by the name of Marriage Island. Now during the summertime we'll have 1, maybe 2 weddings each and every day right there.
Wow. It's pretty cool.
Underneath the bridge in front of us is an area called Old Mills Crossing. In the 1800s, we had a grist mill on the right bank, and this portion of the waterway that we're in and into now is the shallowest part of the river. This has a hard, flat bottom to it, and so people with wagons used to come from miles away across right here because they found they could do so without having to unload everything and then having to reload it once they got to the other side. Now, as we come around the bend, look straight ahead, that red brick building with a green roof that you see up there is one of the oldest buildings on the Riverwalk. That building right up there is the Bexar County Courthouse that opened up in 1896. Now, they're one of the oldest functional courthouses we have in Texas right up there. And one of the more unusual buildings on the river is this building to my left-hand side. The building here to my left is called the Tower Life Building. This opened up back in 1929. This is an example of neo-Gothic architecture here. Take a look at the very top up there, and you're going to see some very decorative gargoyles that serve as water spouts. Now what the gargoyles will do is they'll collect the rainwater, and as they drain out, they'll drain into the corners of the buildings where they have the drainage pipes located. And if you now look just above those small trees in front of us there, you'll see what appears to be is a group of faces right there. And the faces that you see there are called grotesque. Now, they were placed there in order to ward off evil. However, in this case, they didn't do their job very well, because in 1929, when that first opened up, that was the Smith Young Insurance Building. And 6 months after they opened the doors, the stock market crashed, and they lost the building at that time. The building here to my right-hand side is the Homeless Suites. Now, from 1919 to 1963, This is a warehouse for San Antonio Drug Manufacturing Company. In 1995, they renovated the building, at which time then they opened up this 158-room hotel you see here. Now, this is actually one of the better examples that can be shown as to the adaptation of the historical buildings here on the Riverwalk area. Now, if you look over to my right-hand side here, this building is the International Building. From 1968 to 1998, that was the San Antonio Public Library. And today, on the first floor here, we have a nice restaurant, and the two remaining floors, those are offices that conduct international relations between Canada, Mexico, and the United States. Now, the way they control the water levels in this back area and maintain this 4-foot depth is through the use of floodgates. As we come through this archway in front of us here, we're going to go through what is called floodgate 4. And the floodgate, in this particular case, sits on the bottom of the river right about here. So when they want to ensure that there is no water that can return into that area here, what they'll do is they'll raise that gate up in an arc-like fashion, just like if you take a look back at the sides of the walls, what you'll see is how that gate operates there. Now, when this is in place, what will happen is that it will block everything from entering into that back area. Instead, what will occur is that the water would then be pushed south right behind us. Now, this is where it will flow for about 138 miles into the Guadalupe River, and then another 10 more miles, it goes into the Gulf of Mexico. The section that we're currently into now is called the Flood Control Channel. Now, this portion right here, this is man-made. This came about as a result of a flood that happened back in 1921, in which there's substantial damage to the downtown area. 51 people lost their lives at the time, so the city came up with a plan to protect it by having this portion of the earth right here dug out. Now, they then wanted to take the dirt being dug out here and actually use that in order to fill in the Horseshoe Riverwalk area that we just came out of. Now, what that would have accomplished was for them to eliminate the source of water in that back area there, and by straightening the river right here, that allowed for the San Antonio River to completely bypass the downtown area. Now, we had two individuals, however, by the name of Emily Edwards and Rena Maverick Green, who didn't quite agree with that plan, especially the part of eliminating what we now call the downtown Riverwalk. They formed the Conservation Society group in 1924, and they fought with the city for a number of years, until finally, in 1929, when they teamed up with Robert Hudson, the architect. Now, this is when they convinced the city council to approve his plan, and thus they were able to save that Riverwalk area. Now, if you look over here to my right-hand side, this 850-foot sidewalk here is the latest addition to the Riverwalk area. This is a gift given to the city by the Drury Plaza Hotel to my right-hand side. This allows for pedestrians to remain on the river level as they walk from one end to the other end. Now, prior to the sidewalk being placed here, people used to have to go up to the street levels up there and take their chances crossing all those roads there.